Thank you, friend. Shabbat Shalom. I hope it was a wonderful, simply wonderful Mother's Day for all. Either because you're a mother or you were honoring a mother. And if you didn't get a chance, it doesn't need a special day. You could do it anytime. I have received a few requests for topics people are interested in, and we will be addressing them. So I thank you for expressing your wants and needs. We all, of course, hope Bob is still doing well on his road to convalescence. And when you all give thanks for what you have, don't forget to put in a word for those who need our energy. We've reached the end of the third book of the 5 books of Moses. And don't forget, friends, this book took place entirely at the foot of the mountain in a state of stasis. It is the only one like it. And as a rare treat, this week we will look at Bechukotai, by my laws, too often tied to last week's Parsha, Bihar in the mountain. This one deserves a good read of its own. And remember, the I sound at the end of a word is the Hebrew for my. Here this refers to my laws. Sarah's name changed from Sarai to Sarah, represented the change from my princess to the princess. And my God, Adonai, is my Adon. And I wonder if linguistically this shows the tighter connection between ancient Hebrew and Egyptian, both in alphabet and theology. Friends, what if someone comes up to you and says, if you, then I? We might consider this to be a conditional statement. And they're all conditioned on future events and are modified depending on whether it's something that will happen or only might happen. When the Beatles sang, if I fell in love with you, would you promise to be true? It was a conditional statement. But of course we spend our lives looking to get and trying to provide unconditional love. We have grown up probably having come to the conclusion we didn't experience as much unconditional love as we would have liked. But certainly we believed we had it from God. Friends, this final parsha of Leviticus is all about conditions. This book begins with laws and ends with an amazing list of blessings and curses, which indicates all the laws we've gone through have implications, and which tells us that the people's fate depends on whether they follow these laws or not. The blessings include rain, produce, security, satiety, peace, divine presence, and a divine relationship, while the curses have an intensification of catastrophes, which include illness, defeat, wild animals, pestilence, famine, divine rejection, complete fear, cannibalism of our children, destruction, and perhaps the greatest curse of all, in Leviticus 26:33. And you I shall scatter among nations. The curse of exile. The curse we are still suffering from. All future stories of the fortunes of the people of Israel can be understood according to this text in Leviticus, which says good things happen if you will observe my commandments and go by my laws, and bad things happen if you break my covenant. Friends, this parsha opens with a shift in the discourse, invoking 3 of the first 5 commandments. There are to be no idols or pillars, and my Sabbath you shall keep, my sanctuary you shall revere. By my laws is introduced once again by this concept of sacred time, sacred space. This pronouncement brings together the sanctification of time and space. And friends, these are not Jewish laws. These 2 items are universal ones. The Sabbath is the most sacred time, and the sanctuary, the tabernacle, and later the temple, is the most sacred space. And this dual command embraces everything. In your own lives, please honor your sacred time and your sacred space. But this whole set of blessings and curses is based on the conditions of either obeying or rejecting God. And I think of the verse from George Harrison's tribute to John Lennon. They've forgotten all about God. He's the only reason we exist. Yet you were the one that they said was so weird all those years ago. Have we forgotten all about God over the years? Maybe so. But also we have to remember, people are crazy and times are strange. I'm locked in tight, I'm out of range. I used to care. But things have changed. And one of the great changes is how God is presented. Is this the God of creation? The Torah is on a narrowing path. It started broad, all of creation. Then it moved to our solar system and then our planet. Then the creatures that inhabit the planet and then man. All the time it is getting narrower and narrower. And on a parallel course it began with all men. then a family with the patriarch stories culminating in the Joseph Chronicles, and then a single individual, Moses. And one of the most fascinating lines in the entire Torah is here in Leviticus 26:11. And I shall put my tabernacle among you, and my soul will not scorn you. Friends, God mentions his own soul. Are we to understand that God has a soul? This is the only place in the Torah that refers to the nephesh, or soul of God. Everywhere else, it refers to the living quality of man and animals, and is associated with breath, but is always taken to mean soul. Rashi took it to mean the threat of the departure of the Shekinah. The divine presence is perceived in an almost visible manifestation of God on earth, but Shekinah is actually a word that never occurs in the Torah. Its Hebrew root means to settle or dwell, and so it was taken to be the place where the divine presence of God dwells. But the word we learned for tabernacle, mishkan, is actually from the same root, and that is the word used over and over again for the dwelling place of God. If God does have a soul, we are truly made in his image. God then goes on to add, and I shall walk among you, and I shall be a God to you, and you will be a people to me. And the words used are the same as were used in the Garden of Eden stories when God walked among humans. And so this points to a return of the closeness of the divine presence to man, a closeness which existed before the original divine-human conflict in Eden, and one we'd all like to think still exists. What's interesting is that these are also the words thought to have been used in the marriage ceremony in ancient Israel. I shall be a husband to you, and you will be a wife to me. As well as the adoption ceremony, I shall be a parent to you, and you will be a son, daughter to me. Our relationship to God is as man and wife, or parent and child, both special bonds. Friends, with great sadness and a truly heavy heart, I'd like to say a few words for our friend, supporter, advisor, patron, and a man I truly consider brother, Bruce, who lost his father the other day. We are probably never truly ready for the death of a parent. It marks the end of our age of innocence, and even though death is as much a part of life as birth, it stands outside our realm of knowledge and consciousness. But we are all connected in consciousness by our thoughts and feelings and our memories, which all blend together. It's the memories of someone that keep them alive for us. As infants, our parents fed, nurtured, and protected us from certain death, and created the innocent age in which we could develop and grow and expand. Our parents live on forever in our memories, and I'm sure we all join together in wishing Bruce and his family the joy of wonderful memories that they can share and spread like the bursting buds of springtime leaves, which give life to us all. But our thoughts and prayers must go much further. They must go for the siblings who have lost an intrinsic part of their past, to the grandchildren who have lost a crucial link in their genetic makeup, to the unborn grandchildren who will miss out, and to all those touched by the life and spirit of this man. And it is in these times that we put our petty differences aside, and a family can come together right now over him. As Dan Fogelberg sang, back at the start it was easy to see, no one to own to, nowhere to be, deep in the heartlands, a sad memory. Fretful horizons, worrisome skies, tearful misgivings, burning your eyes, yearnings unanswered, reckon the wage you pay to recapture the innocent age. Alav Hashalom, may he rest in peace. Thank you, friends. Shabbat Shalom.